say it all. These young athletes are reflecting on what was undoubtedly a sensational summer. This is, of course, a snippet from Dugout Dreams, which is a documentary of the Delmar girls' journey to the Little League Softball World Series, done by our friends at Delmarva Sports Network. And we are so lucky to be chatting with two of the people who really made it happen. You guys were the heart behind this documentary. This is Kayla Santiago, who is the sports director, Ben Membrino, videographer, editor extraordinaire, all the things. So tell us just a little bit about how this documentary kind of came about.
Yeah, well, we were following them in North Carolina. Ben was actually with them in Bristol, and looking at this and seeing these girls, the first team ever in Maryland to make it, and just seeing how passionate they were and how excited it really was for sports all across the shore and in Delaware, but also for little girls in softball. And we just said we have to make something out of what happened to be history. And it was the first time in a really long time that anybody's made it this far on the Delmarva Peninsula. So it was awesome that we were able to put it all together and that they can experience in memory for their whole entire lives.
Absolutely. What was it like for you two to cover this?
Yeah, it was really unbelievable, especially since I had just started here in early June. You know,
brand new.
I
graduated.
I graduated college in early May, and then I moved down here a month later, and it happened really quickly. And then all of a sudden, I get a text I think it was a Monday morning, and I was like, "Hey, this Delmar Little League softball team is going to regionals in my neck of the woods up in New England, where I'm from originally." So.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I was like, hey, we need someone to cover it. You go up there and cover it, and right away you can kind of tell there was some good vibes going on, just because it wasn't just Delmar, it was the Georgetown team too. So you had two teams from Eastern Shore, and they were both doing well early on in the tournament and really showing that they could do some damage. So it was really awesome just to be there and see kids, because I was at one point I played Little League baseball, and I had dreams of playing in Williamsport and going to the World Series and stuff. So it was cool to see it happen for teams that we cover. Yeah,
you saw your dreams come true for them, through them. And so you mentioned Georgetown. Obviously, this is a documentary that really all of Delmarva can really enjoy, because so many people were involved.
Yeah, so everybody can enjoy it. And I mean, you talk about kids that might be coaches now, or people that are coaching softball or any other sport, and saying, I was in their shoes one day and that was a dream of mine. And I really just think, especially for younger girls kind of coming up and seeing this, that this is a possibility. And when teams here are able to do these big things, it's going to be covered, and it's going to be covered extensively. We've been really, really blessed with how much talent is here on the shore and in Delaware, and just to be able to see these girls really go through this journey, I don't even think moved the people of Delmar. I think it moved everybody watching. I mean, of course, these games were on ESPN. Everybody could see them. But when we were tweeting, when we were going Facebook Live, the amount of people really locked in, them using our hashtag local teams, big dreams, people are bought into this, whether they're not even from the peninsula or whether they're from right here in Delmar, Maryland. So it really is fantastic that this is going to impact just so many people outside of what we cover normally.
It's crazy, especially since the teams that were playing in Greenville, the team they faced in the final, Texas, huge Texas town they faced in that final. The population size difference is pretty crazy. So for a team, coming from a small town like Delmar and going up against teams from not only in the U.S. but across the world, they play a team from Asia, played a team from Europe. So it's it's a pretty cool experience to see.
And it must have been, you guys must have just fallen right in love with this team as you were covering them. How could you not?
Yeah, I think it's crazy, because I think both of us were all right, well, if they lose the first two games, then we're going home. And then they win the first two games, and we're like, holy crap, this can actually happen. And we're sitting there on the edge of our seat. We were really the only local media people there covering it too. So it was extremely cool just to everybody coming up to us asking, who are you here for? The Delmar community was just so grateful for us. So us being able to be there and just be on the edge of our seats for 13-year-old girls playing softball, it was a dream come true for us, honestly, because being able to be there in that moment, it felt like we could share it with them, which was really special.
Exactly. I love it. And the girls have had a preview of this.
They
How'd
have.
that go?
There was a lot of tears. There was a lot of laughter. You would see sometimes the pictures of them acting goofy, and they would just start cracking up. It was just really humbling, I think, for us just to see their reactions, because they're so young. And I remember being that age, being involved in sports, and to be able to have yourself on the screen and be able to see this journey. And they're kids, and I think when they lost at the end there, of course they're emotional. They don't really know how to tie that into a good thing. And now that they're seeing this and just seeing how they come back and the whole community was there, I think not even now, but for years, they're going to understand that this is just bigger than a World Series championship win. It was the biggest thing that's happened in this community in a really long time.
It was tough, not to be there when they came back. We were driving back, a little later than they were, but it was pretty cool seeing, the footage and the coverage and just like how it felt like the whole town came out to support them, and really felt literally like culmination feeling.
Absolutely. Did you guys have a favorite moment throughout the whole thing? I know it's kind of a big question.
I think mine was like the World Series championship, because I just remembered going to bed and being like, they're going to do this. They're like, this is going to happen. And also when Macy Rickards had those 18 strikeouts and she had a no-hitter. I mean, you're looking at this and we're like shaking over here. We're like, we do this every single day. But when you're a part of it, and this is why we love what we do, because it's moments like these that you would do anything for. You would go out and spend a whole month covering the Little League World Series if you could just be able to cover something like that. So for me, that was probably my favorite.
Yeah. For me, I probably had to go when I was in Bristol, for the championship there when Georgetown matched up with Delmar, because we were talking about it, like, is this, like, it's possible, like, the only way they could match up is if they make it to the final game. And when they did, being able to cover it and shoot that game, it was like a really cool feeling, because the atmosphere was really cool. It was kind of like it was a night game, so it was like very cool and just awesome to see, the Eastern Shore be represented on ESPN like that.
And of course, Dugout Dreams tonight on WBOC at 7:30, and of course also it'll be available on the Delmarva Sports Network app. So check that out. Kayla, Ben, thank you so much. Good job on your hard work. Can't wait to see your next documentary.
Thank you. We can't wait to.